It was a sunny day in early June when I received a call from my best friend, Emily. She had been suspicious of her husband, Jack, for a while, and she had finally caught him cheating on her. Emily was devastated, and she didn't know what to do. She needed my help, and I promised her that I would be there for her. Emily and Jack had been together for 10 years. They had met in college and had fallen in love at first sight. They were the perfect couple, and everyone envied their relationship. Jack was a successful businessman, and Emily was a stay-at-home mom. They had 2 children, a boy and a girl, and they were the center of their world. But something had changed in Jack. He had become distant, and he was always working late. Emily had tried to talk to him, but he was always too busy. She had noticed that he was spending a lot of time on his phone, and he was always texting someone. Emily had become suspicious, and she had started to investigate. One day, she had followed Jack to a hotel, and she had seen him with another woman. Emily had been devastated, and she had confronted Jack. He had admitted to cheating on her, and he had begged for her forgiveness. But Emily couldn't forgive him. Her heart was broken, and she felt betrayed. Emily had decided to leave Jack, and she had moved in with me. She had filed for divorce, and she had hired a lawyer. Jack had tried to apologize, and he had promised to change, but it was too late. Emily had lost her trust in him, and she couldn't forgive him for what he had done. It was a difficult time for Emily. She was trying to rebuild her life, and she was struggling to cope with the pain of betrayal. She was going through a roller coaster of emotions, from anger to sadness, to despair. But she was strong, and she had a support system of friends and family who were there for her. As time passed, Emily began to heal. She started to focus on herself, and she began to rediscover her passions and interests. She took up painting and started to volunteer at a local shelter. She even started dating again, and she met a wonderful man who treated her with the love and respect she deserved. Jack, on the other hand, had hit rock bottom. He had lost everything he had worked for, including his wife and children. He had lost his job and his friends, and he was alone. He had realized too late what he had lost, and he was filled with regret. In the end, Emily had found happiness, and Jack had learned a valuable lesson. Betrayal had torn their relationship apart. But it had also taught them both the importance of honesty, trust, and communication. They had both grown from the experience, and they had become better people because of it. I never thought I would be the kind of person to cheat on my husband, but sometimes life takes unexpected turns. It all started when my husband's aunt came to stay with us for a few weeks. She was recently divorced and needed a change of scenery, so we welcomed her into our home. At first, everything was normal. We cooked dinner together, watched movies, and talked about our lives. But then, something changed. I started to notice the way she looked at me, and the way her touch lingered a little too long. I tried to ignore it, but I couldn't deny the growing attraction I felt for her. One night, my husband was out of town on business, and I found myself alone with his aunt. We were watching a movie, and before I knew it, our hands were intertwined. We kissed, and it was like nothing I had ever experienced before. It was wrong, but it felt so right. For the next few weeks, we continued our secret affair. We would sneak around the house, trying not to get caught, but the excitement of it all only fueled our desire for each other. I knew what we were doing was wrong, but I couldn't help myself. I was in love with my husband's aunt, and I didn't want it to end. But one day, my husband came home early from his trip and caught us in the act. He was devastated, and I was ashamed of what I had done. I tried to explain myself, but there was no excuse for my betrayal. In the end, my husband's aunt left our home, and my marriage was never the same. My husband tried to forgive me, but the Trust was broken, and the love was gone. Cheating on my husband with his aunt was the biggest mistake of my life. It taught me that sometimes, the things we think we want can lead us down a dark path. I will never forget the pain and regret that came with my actions. And I hope that others can learn from my mistake.